In light of the game finally getting a patch and update on the Switch to help with some bugs and fix the Riddler trophies, I figured it was time to go back to the world of the Batman Arkham series. At least before the Suicide Squad game upset Batman fans across the world from that one scene. Plus, the game was only $4 on a Steam sale last week. Let's go into a different platform and showcase how I've gotten Batman Arkham Knight to run on the Steam Deck. To quickly summarize the game, Arkham Knight is a third of the Batman Arkham trilogy, showcasing Batman in a mostly abandoned Gotham City, fighting off Scarecrow and the mysterious Arkham Knight's militia. The game offered a larger open world, Batmobile driving and combat, and is still considered one of the most graphically impressive DC games to date, even argued to be on par or past Gotham Knights and the recent Suicide Squad. Now, as far as getting it to run with performance, I found that most Proton versions don't really run this game at all. The game takes a while to boot up in general, offering a black screen for a while even on native Linux. But whenever I go for Proton, the game normally just fails to launch altogether and kicks me back to SteamOS. As a result, all of my tests in this video were done with native Linux. The results were pretty good overall. By default, the game puts you on high settings with texture, shadows, and level of detail, with it targeting 60 frames per second. The game doesn't really stay at 60 FPS for the entire time, but there are many instances, especially with indoor areas and even some brawls out in the open world, that will hover in that 50 to 60 FPS range. However, the frames will jump around a lot between 40 and 60 as you glide around the map and get into the more technical areas. In my further exploration of the game, the idea of locking the deck down to 40 FPS came to mind, but it wasn't really enough for the more strenuous environments, especially when you get to the bane of the Switchport's existence, the Batmobile. In the vehicle areas, you'll get smooth frame rates, but more going between 33 and 60 rather than 40 and 60. And unfortunately, there will be segments where the game will drop down and hiccup to 27, especially in the first couple of turns from the initial chase with the Batmobile at the beginning of the game. It's only for a split second, but it's there. You can move around detail, shadow, and textures between low, medium, and high all you want, but it's not going to fix it. I had to experiment around, and what you need to do is turn VSync off, so it stops trying to force the refresh rate and frame rate to sync up. I found frame rates in the 30s and 40s from the Batmobile sections with VSync turned on, turning into mostly just 40s without VSync. So then I thought, what if I just turn everything off? Anti-aliasing, motion blur, chromatic, film grain. In most areas of the game, this will improve the frame rate. Being around Ace Chemicals with the Batmobile gave me 40 FPS and higher, but when you get back to the city itself, you will still occasionally drop into the 30s, around 34 to 36. Because of this, I think locking the game down to 30 FPS with a lot of those features still turned on is the best option. You could still lock the deck down to 40 and get drops to the 30s when driving, but if you want perfection, 30 is the way to go. And that's pretty much it for performance. So we should move on to battery life. You're not going to get a lot of time, but that's not too surprising considering what game this is. High brightness will get you a bit over an hour of time, around an hour and 20 minutes, while lower brightness will only raise that to about an hour and 40 minutes. Now, as we wrap this up, would I recommend Batman Arkham Knight to Steam Deck users? I think I would. If you lock things down to 30 or 40 FPS, the game can still look good, play smooth, and proper setting adjustments can keep you from dropping below 30. Plus, it's dirt cheap when it's on a sale. You don't get a ton of battery life, but it'll give you a good handheld experience as the Switchport is unfortunately still suffering from performance issues. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back soon with more Steam Deck performance and reviews. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.